I see you, little mouse. You don't belong here. Run along. Turn back, trespasser. Cease this madness. Ultimate chaos.
Damn you!
You tamper with things you do not understand. The hunt begins. Power from the ball. Your recklessness will not go unpunished.
A unique.
Strike true.
This is your final warning. You force my hand again, little mouse. So be it. You've chosen to side with chaos. This is my world, and you shall obey my order.
Dog and hunt. Mortal flesh is so fallible. Be healed and fight on. He's recovering. We need to find a way back quickly. Swift end.
Embrace my vision. Behold the face of your
Stalk and hunt. Father, it's me. Let me help you.
The horror must be stopped.
Mortal flesh is so fallible.
Insignificant.
He's injured, but not for long. We need to get back. You are nothing. Stalk and hunt. They lied to you, Father. I'm your true memory. Life is so brittle. A most of my lives. Be healed, health is so hard to find.
A final abyss.
Life is so brittle.
A unique.
Irrelevant.
Oh, okay, I died once. In my defense, this is the first shaper of God knows when. I've actually, let me think about it. It's the first shaper in almost I think more than half a year. Because I've been mostly playing PoE 2, yeah? So, yeah, build's amazing. Pretty much one-shots him. Tanky enough to deal with most mechanics. As long as you're not prepared enough to like run into all of them and die. you should be fine. I think the thing is, if you have something to hit, you can leech, and if you can leech, you shouldn't die because your leech is insanely high. But yeah, if you got nothing to leech, yeah, you know, you just take damage. There's no regen, there's no recharge. Eventually, I would think about a setup which doesn't have a chevrons, and that would mean that I can actually recharge energy shield. And then with that energy shield recharge, I should be able to deal with all this, right? So I would probably spec out of this section and then get Spellbreaker, and then maybe up to here, get this and get this, right? So that would be the play if I want to scale this further into something that can do like more taxing content. But yeah, anyway, so you can tell this is my first Shaper delete because I actually put in a buy order into the Faustus and got 10 invites. So I just used the first 5. I forgot that that there are 6 slots now, and so it was telling me it's too many fragments. It's quite cheap. It's about I paid 10C per, so it's like 50C per invite, and I'm not sure how much this cost. It's 40C, so maybe is a net loss. How much is the fragment of shape? Oh, it's 45. Okay, so it's there's no way you lose money on this. Wait, did I get Awakeness Orb as well? No, right? It's from something else. No, sorry, I got it from Faust. Yeah. Anyway, so pretty good profit if I want to keep running this. I may or may not. We'll see. Might put in more purchases of boss invites. But yeah. And then do more bossing, right? Because I'm pretty sure Ether and Exile are just going to be free. Shaper is considered a relatively challenging fight compared to the rest. Sirius is probably free too. But yeah. I've also started doing T17 maps, so I've gotten quite a bit of fragments. I'm actually running them with double All-Flame Embers of Wildwood. I bought a whole bunch of them for 1C each. The strategy is just basically to clear the map so that you have Wildwood up, and then you run where's my Betrayal Scarrow of Fumes? I can't find it. Anyway, there's this thing that gives me, oh yeah, this one, sorry, All-Flame. So number of modifier mobs substituted by All-Flame Embers. So these ones, I get Wildwood monsters in the map. The Wildwood monsters will boost the boss, and the boss just becomes insanely tough to kill. So that's the fun part about this build, and that's kind of what I've decided I've designed this build to do extremely high in content for not Valdos. I'm not sure I want to do Valdos yet, but extremely high in content at a reasonable amount of budget. So if you want to look at the price of this whole build right now with the Mageblood, it is about close to what is a mirror actually at this point? I actually never bought a mirror in my life before, so I can't tell how much it costs. Oh wow, it's less than the mirror. So the Mageblood is about 225 divs, and the rest of the build is just under 200. So right now you're probably looking at a 0.9 of a mirror cost and everything. But finding the exact pieces I have might be a bit hard, and there are ways to substitute some of these pieces for even cheaper ones. I just I just went top end for a couple of them, mostly because I found them cheap, right? So I'll give you an example. This amulet here is insane, but I bought this for 3 divines. I had no idea why. Some people just don't know how to price their items, and when I see a cheap item, I'm happy to just take it off the market. But yeah, the build actually, the showcase for yesterday when I did T17 map has more damage. So this has less damage here, and the reason why it has less damage is because I dropped the belt slot, which drops some ES, and then a bit of damage as well. So the drop ES and a bit of damage. I think I had, with that older belt, I had about 8,000 top end lightning. Now it's 7.4. But the upside to this is I think my elemental max hit has kind of gone up by 50% because of these flasks. And then with the permanent uptime on the granite, my armor is pretty much here. I don't really need a Quicksilver. I know Quicksilver is quite attractive. I don't really think I need to run around. Once with soul stacks up, my leap send pretty much is my pseudo movement. I don't think I need to walk, right? So yeah, do not need a Quicksilver flask. And yeah, just like this, Blast were relatively easy to set up. The Mage Blast was the most expensive item. But yeah, I had too much currency at some point, so I was sitting on, I think, 2 mirror shards and like about 180 divs. I still have some stuff that need to be sold, like this thing over here. I'm looking at a couple of other upgrades on the market for mainly gloves and helm. Now they have overcap res, and boots will probably have to be recrafted, but that will come later. I'll lower my res a bit. I still want to do Ether Exalt altars, so keep an overcap on lightning and cold. But yeah, in general, yeah, very happy how this build turned out. If you were to spend just maybe about 150 divines, you probably could get it to a point where it can farm 16.5s very easily without any problems, and do most of the content in the game just by outskilling it, right? You have such insane damage just with 150 divs or 100 divs worth of investment that you can pretty much just, as long as you're skilled enough to avoid Voss attacks, you should be fine. Just because Molten Strike the Zenith is just so bastardly strong, and then because Energy Blade is so good with because Energy Blade is good for two reasons, right? Lightning damage is amazing this patch because of Mercenaries and Dorianis, and then also because of Lucky on per kill, lucky damage per kills on the Mercenary as well. And Energy Blade just fits every single criteria over there. I've seen a lot of people do EE, so Femoral Edge one-handed, or Energy Blade one-handed, and I think both are actually inferior to this in terms of just raw damage. For me, personally, I would rather cut my ES in half and just get the insane damage of Molten Strike or Zenith, and then fix defenses elsewhere, rather than go the other route and then fix damage, right? I think only if you're doing Valdos farming where insane amount of tankiness is required, like 30k ES, 40k ES, then yeah, go the other route. I think that makes sense. But if you actually want to do decent damage on a budget, this is pretty much it, I think. Alright, what else is there to cover? Let me think. So Soul Tech is extremely important, and also why this build is enabled. I think there are other content creators that have done Energy Blade Molten Strike of Zenith before in 3.25, and back then when I looked at it, I thought it was shit. I still think it's shit, but it's just that in this current patch, you have a multiple set of things lining up to make this actually a really strong build. One is the Soul Tech. So Soul Tech does sacrifice a ring and an amulet slot, and on most Energy Blade setups, it is considered a downside. And the reason for that is because you lose so much int from these two slots. In most other builds you see, they will go for like Simplex Amulet and some Helical Ring or something, and they would have insane amount of stats from these two. In this case, you actually forego this for this specific tech. And why this is acceptable is because one, it gives you 472 ES, which is almost the same as a Helm slot, right? And it also gives you skills cost ES instead of mana, so you don't have to manage mana at all. And then also it gives you the Soul Tech, right? Because you can run Blade of Thratters into low duration temp chains and then get souls off bosses, right? And because it's based off enemy power, you deal with like uniques, you get like 10 souls every time it procs. And with that 225% increased attack speed, Molten Strike of Zenith hits so fast, right, that the downsides are completely negated. So Molten Strike of Zenith, you have to wait for 5 attacks before you can actually like do decent damage. And those 5 attacks are usually very costly. And it's costly because in the meantime, while you're attacking, you have to deal with the monsters and like your damage is not insanely high, so you don't leech that much, right? But in this case, what happens is because your attack speed is so high, I'm actually running multi-strike. Okay, multi-strike is not usually advised because it's considered a clear setup for Molten Strike of Zenith. But in this case, because of the 225% increased attack speed, you can just run multi-strike, and you notice that I'll attack the bosses for maybe about 2 or 3 seconds, and it instantly melts on the second or third second. The second or third second, yeah. Because what would happen is the Molten Strike of Zenith would proc so fast, like you just delete them in that one Molten Strike of Zenith proc. The 5th attack, right? And even with multi-strike. So just saying, just way too many synergies here that work synergistically to create this build. Probably, if you ask me, one of the hands down, I would think this is one of the best builds of this league. with the exception of other scaling builds that like really stack into int. So you don't really consider this an int stacker per se, because you don't go more than I'm gonna definitely push this. I'm gonna definitely push for 1000 int for this. If I'm lucky, I might be able to push it to 2000, but I think it's unlikely because of the fact that I already said you sacrifice a ring and an amulet slot. But I think I would consider this one of the most balanced builds because you're not just stacking in. There's just so many synergies coming together into this one build. And the great part about it is if you don't have a mage blood, you can run without it. And the moment you get a mage blood, you lose a little bit of damage, but this gets way tankier, right? So yeah, I'm gonna drop the POV of the non-mage blood version and the mage blood version in the video. You figure out how you want to progress to get to this point. For me, I actually leveled, or rather I started a league with a more Mischief Ignite Elementalist. That kind of got all my currency because it hit 20 to 30 mil dot DPS with about 80-90k EHP. And I wasn't doing anything difficult with that. I was just doing syndicates until level 99 and getting loads of currency off syndicates. Bravicus dropped me 1 mirror shard. He dropped me I think a couple of divines. I didn't get anything amazing like a mage blood, but still the main reason why Syndicate Rush and Alkin Go are so successful this league is because the more maps you proc, the more you get of this, and this right now is 3 divines. Okay, now it's lowered to 2.5, but it was 3 divines at some point, and this it's still about 2 divines, right? And you can see how many of them I've gotten. I've just accumulated them because I don't need the currency at the moment, but I'll start selling these off to just start replacing pieces. I think I want to upgrade this is really shit. I think this was like 3 divines or something. The helmet is like 8 divines, the chest armor is 13, and the boots is the most expensive, 20. So, and then if you want to look at my weapon, let me show you. 10C. It's a 10C Abyss socket, 2 under, and then you just add in the extra sockets itself. But yeah, I think in the guide video for the other one, I've already done a pretty good breakdown of the mechanics of the build. So please go down and just have a look at that one if you want to know how to build this. Mage Blood build is just once you've gotten past that point and you said, okay, I've farmed up maybe about 300 divines. Maybe I should go into Mage Blood now, and this would be the pivot you do to go into Mage Blood. Yeah, everything is accessible because if you get this without the implicits, it is less than 100 chaos. I think it's like 30k or something. Chevrons without any implicits, 20-30 chaos as well. This amulet might be a bit more expensive. You can snipe one 390 and above ES without the catalyst, and then you catalyst it yourself. You don't have to care about the implicits. You can just use the default one. And if you look at the rest of the cost of gear, it's very achievable. Now, here's the thing you need to look out for and what you need to buy as soon as possible, because that I cannot guarantee will stay the same price. And that is this. So Forbidden Flame Shrapnel Specialist is heavily underrated. It's extremely underrated at this moment. It is basically a Nimbus slot without replacing a ring slot. Right, it's half a Nimbus without replacing a ring slot. Of course, Nimbus gives you 100% more damage. This gives only 50% more, but this takes up only jewel slots, right? And you can and you're gonna get jewel slots anyway, for your cluster jewels. And then also, if you look at the amount of power you get out of jewels in general, this is a lot more power than what you would originally have. And your ring slots are better served with either stats or other sorts of damage, right? So yeah, you can definitely go Nimbus. So you drop these, get better jewels or something, and then you get a Nimbus here. But that is like 50 divines on a ring. And this is 10. this together is 10 divines. I bought this for like 8 total together. And the other things you need to watch out for, which are expensive, is the clusters. I sniped these pretty early on because no one's looking for these. All the ephemeral age tricksters are going shield clusters for some reason. So this one, you want. I went for early res because I didn't have any Mage Blood at the time, so that was how I was fixing my res. Now I can probably go for attack speed clusters if I want, or I can start getting rid of these clusters, getting more passives, and start speccing towards my Spellbreaker setup. But yeah, what other synergies? Oh yeah, and this one as well. This is expensive. Oh no, sorry, not this one. This one here. So Light of Meaning, you usually put it here at the very start until you get access to these slots. What you run is an Unnatural here, and then you run the Light of Meaning here. Light of Meaning, I regret not buying it early. I saw it for about 10 to 15 divines, and I was like, maybe ES won't be popular this league, and I can just wait. It ran up to 40 divines, okay? And I sat down, I was like, oh shit, I need to do something about it now. I talked to a couple of friends, and they said last league, Liar Meaning went all the way to 60 divines, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy it. So I bought this first. It's one of your main steroids for ES, and therefore damage and survivability. So once you start getting all the basic pieces in place, like this one, once you get the Forbidden Jewels, start thinking about this, right? Start thinking about, Watcher's Eye with ES on hit or a chance to evade. I got a really good one here. This was 20 divs. I saw the guy listed for 20 minutes. I was like, this looks too good to pass up. I'm gonna just drop 20 divs on this. And then I divined a couple to get the rolls. You can also drop the determination. So I've run determination here because I feel that my fizz mitigation is kind of meh. I am converting about 16% to chaos, which is removing it outright, but still there are not many sources of fizz mitigation on this build. We have the mercenary with the replica of Victoria's Charity that is endurance charges, 3 endurance charges, which helps a bit, but still not comfortable enough for me. I would like it to be higher, but yeah. So Watcher's Eye, get that as soon as possible, and then get these jewels as soon as possible, right? What? Maybe he might ask someone else. I don't know. Okay, so Whispers of Doom. Okay, the reason why I'm allocating this is because of I have Mark on hit with Sniper's Mark. If you are not running these two, you don't have to run up here and waste these points. What else in terms of investment? I think I've covered most of the major costs. Once you move the Light of Meaning here with the Unnatural, you actually run this here, which is a Fertile Mind. You convert it to Int, because you just basically have too much dex. You just basically have too much dex, so you want to convert this to Int once you get these areas unlocked. Oh, okay, so the synergies that I think are great as well for the passive tree is that you're pathing here, you're getting all your suppression actually from the passive tree. You'd have 0 suppression on gear, which makes your gear really, really cheap. You just need this areas, here, 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 and here. You don't need a dex because you don't need a dex to convert the evasion, or to give you evasion rating, because you have int evasion rating coming from int. And then you can just basically give your dex, turn your dex into suppression, right? So with this, you cap suppression. Once I get Spellbreaker, I can start to remove other points like here, and yeah. And then you want to path here as well, because it gives you a precise technique, 40% more damage. It gives you point blank, 30% more. And then it gives you these. So slower approach tag has kind of been ignored for a bit because strength stackers kind of don't do this, and so everyone's kind of forgotten. But back in the day when we did Molten Strike, the way to get your balls to just fall straight down and you just shotgun targets is to just get enough slow approach. And how you get slow approach is you have to run one single slower projectile support, and then you run this mastery, less projectile speed, and this class and this notables over here, so reduce projectile speed. And with this, you should shotgun on every ball, right, including your returning projectiles. So this explains why everything hits, why stuff melts, okay, because everything is just hitting, all the balls are just hitting the same target. All right, what else is there? Alright, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry for dying once in Shaper, but this is my first Shaper fight in 6 months. We'll probably do even more bosses, farm Baldos, find probably a Giga Juice farming strategy, and stop doing Syndicates. See you guys, I'm out. Peace, bye.